Good morning everyone and welcome to the Sharekhan's pre-market update. First and foremost, we will have an update on the global markets. US markets are showing no signs of corrections as we have seen the growing economic growth optimism in the world's largest economy, which is driving the global markets. Yesterday also we saw the Dow and the S&P closing up around 0.1%. Last week we saw the European Central Bank cutting the interest rates, and also the US economic data showed that the US jobs added more jobs in the economy than expected, and that is what we have seen the overall sentiments being very positive in the equity markets globally. As far as the European markets are concerned, also we saw yesterday the UK and the other European markets closing on a positive note. The Japanese GDP data which was out came better than estimated. The first quarter GDP numbers for Japan came to around 1.6% against the estimate of around 1.4%. So also that boosted the overall positive sentiments. As far as China is concerned, although the inflation accelerated more than expected, but we saw some of the measures which were taken by the People's Bank of China, where they have mentioned that they would cut the requirements by the banks by around 0.5% effective from June 16th. So that also created a positive sentiments. Although we saw a lot of fluctuations, a lot of volatility in the Chinese market yesterday, but overall the markets closed almost on a flattish note. So back home, yesterday we saw the Indian markets continuous positive momentum, and we saw the Nifty closing up around 70% and Sensex was up around 183 points. And yes, the overall sentiments remains positive as far as the Indian markets are concerned. There are concerns as far as the statements which are coming from the with effect to the El Nino. Also the IMD has mentioned yesterday that this year the rainfalls are likely to be deficit to be somewhere around 93% of the long-term average rainfall for India, and plus or minus 4%. So overall the news is not very positive, but as far as the government is concerned, the agriculture minister has mentioned that they would soon pass a cabinet note with respect to the diesel subsidy scheme, so that they could provide irrigation facilities to protect the standing crops in case of any deficiency in the rains this year. So overall the momentum remains positive. As far as the flows are concerned, the FIS yesterday's provision figure showed a positive figure to the tune of around 536 odd crores in the cash provisioning market, and the DIs were sellers to the tune of around 490 odd crores. To have a view and update on the markets going ahead, let's have a look at the derivative data.
Good morning friends, let's have a view on derivatives. Yesterday, the benchmark indices once again showcased an enthusiastic performance, as we have seen that market started the session with lifetime high, and it has broken the previous lifetime high of 7625 and continued its northward journey towards upward direction and made a new lifetime high at 7689 odd levels. Backed by gains in many of the blue chip counters along with sectoral indices, and Nifty finally snapped its session with a significant gain of more than 1%. In this period, we have seen that for second day in a row, long positions were built up by market players, as around 13.21 lakh shares were added in open interest, and Nifty futures price increased by approximately 80 rupees. On the other hand, cost of carry increased by 115% from 1.77 to 3.80%, and Nifty futures premium also increased by approximate from 5 points to 15 odd levels. On the options front, PCR is increased from 0.84 to 0.87. 4% rise was observed in PCR, which is clearly indicating that put option has added more number of shares than call option. In yesterday's trade, put option has added around 45 lakh shares in open interest, whereas call option has added around 24 lakh shares in open interest. As we have seen that markets were at lifetime high, huge volatility was expected in the market, and a lot of speculation was observed in the market, due to which IV is increased by approximately 6 to 7% from 15.98 to 17.08. On the options activity, we have seen that as of now 8000 stands with highest number of shares in open interest, followed by 7800 and 7900. But in percentage terms, 7900 has seen good activity in yesterday's trade. On the put option, strike of 7500 stands with highest number of shares in open interest, followed by 7400 and 7600. There are three securities in bank period today. One is Dish TV, second is Indiabuild Real Estate, and third is Unity. And yesterday, FIs were net buyers of approximately 477 odd crores in future and option segment. After a long trading sessions, FI turned net buyers in index futures of approximately 364 odd crores. A 5-day CPM stands at 7520. Lower range for the market would be 7500 and higher range would be 7700. If market sustains its this range 7700 level, we can see higher targets towards 7800 to 7900 mark. As Singapore Nifty is up by 7 points at 7670, we may see marginal flattish to positive opening in Nifty futures today. That's it from derivatives. Thank you.
Let's have a look at some of the actionable ideas for today. First and foremost, ICICI Bank. Action to be taken is long ICICI Bank, the stop loss of 1462 for target of 1537 and 1565. Welspun Corporation, where there is news that JSW Steel will acquire smaller rival Welspun Max Steel for about 1,100 crores in a move aimed at sourcing the cheaper raw materials, cutting the production cost and strengthening its presence in the northern and the western markets. So we recommend to go long on Welspun Corporation with stop loss of 99 for target of 105, 107. Bharti Airtel, the news is that the company splits the Africa Towers business and sells to 4 buyers instead of selling it to one go. The company has split the sale of its nearly 15,000 towers among 4 buyers so that the company can get maximum value for the deal. So we come to go long on Bharti with stop loss of 348 and target 368 and 380. Tata Motors is working on a new small car to take on the bestseller brands such as the Maruti Celerio and Ford's new Figo to help it regain the lost turf. So the overall new car is co-named as Kite and is planned to be launched in late 2015 and will be rolled out from the Tata Motors Sananand plant in Gujarat. So we recommend to go long on Tata Motors with stop loss of 439 and targeting 461 and 470 today. Stock with positive bias for today, Ambuja Cement, Tata Chemicals and Tata Communication, and with a negative bias, HPCL, NTPC and ONGC. On the other news update, in a move which is aimed at creating liquidity buffers in the banks, the RBI has mandated the lenders to maintain a 60% liquidity coverage ratio from January 1st, 2015. Also, Central Bank has suggested a phased manner in which the ratio will have to be increased to 100% by January 1st, 2019. On other news, Eros International has announced that it has acquired a controlling stake in TechZone, aggregator, developer and a distributor of the entertainment content via mobile platforms focused on Bollywood films and music markets. The acquisition is primarily done in order to complement the Eros Entertainment's online content, monetizing the initiative Eros Now, the company's online movie content platform. On other news, Imami is making a foray into the India's deodorant segment, the largest and the fastest growing category in the male grooming. The company is rolling out a new brand, He, which it wants to eventually extend into the entire space of the male grooming in areas such as skin and the hair care. That's it, friends, from the today's morning Sharekhan's pre-market update. Thanks and have a nice trading day.